Hello, my name is Marcello with 3S Shooting Sports Software. Today I'm going to show you how to use the Miscellaneous Sales feature of 3S. Now, the Miscellaneous Sales feature is to help you cashier items that aren't typically tracked through the cashiering system, such as bags of ice, hats, shirts, dinner tickets, pretty much anything that you're selling besides the entry fees and the options and everything at cashiering. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to go into the setup menu, number 12, miscellaneous items setup, and then let me bring that over onto the screen. I'm going to select add, and I'm not going to track tickets, or not going to print tickets, and this is going to be an ice 10-pound bag, and that's going to be ice 10 pounds. I'm going to set the item price to $3. Then I'm going to add another item, and that's going to be ice 20-pound bag, ice 20 pounds, $6. And then finally I'm going to add in a t-shirt. That is going, actually, t-shirt. That's going to be a t-shirt, and that is $10. I'm going to add a hat at $10. And then finally, I'm going to do a t-shirt and hat for $15. And that's going to be t-shirt and hat. Finally, I'm going to close out of this screen. And so there are a couple different ways that you can make a sale. So the first way I'm going to show you is through the menus. And so first things first, you're going to go to Miscellaneous Sale, Make a Sale. Let me drag this back onto the screen. And I'm going to track who these items are being sold to. So I have registered shooter selected. I'm going to select Find, and then I'm going to start punching in George's ATA number. And then I'll click Open, and click Open again. Here I can say that he is going to buy a 10-pound bag of ice and a t-shirt and hat combo. So we can see that his total is $18. Now let's say that he no longer wants to buy the 10-pound bag of ice. I can just select the 10-pound bag of ice and select the minus sign. It'll ask me if I want to delete that record. I'm going to say OK. And now once we click on the grid view again, we can see that the order total is now updated to $15. So I'm going to go ahead and say Pay, and I'm going to say no to printing a receipt because I don't want to print a receipt. And let's say that somebody who isn't a registered shooter wants to buy something. You can select General Person and type in a phone number, and then select Open. It'll say that the person is not found. Do you wish to add them? I'm going to say yes, and we're going to say that this is for myself. So I'm going to provide it with a name. And now let's say that I want to buy a t-shirt, and only one. I'm going to add that. Now let's say that the customer changes their mind and they want to buy 2 t-shirts. Down here, come to quantity, update that to 2, and then when you click again on that record, it'll automatically update to 20. Then select Pay. I am going to print a receipt, so I'm going to select yes, and now the transaction has gone through and has been logged. And let's say that you're not worried about knowing who purchased what. You can just say Open as Guest, and now I can say that this guest is going to purchase a 20-pound bag of ice and a hat. So that comes out to a grand total of $16. I can select Pay. I'm going to print out the receipt, and now that order has been tracked. Alright, so let me show you the other way to track a miscellaneous sale. Let's say that we're cashiering somebody, so I'm just going to go into the normal enter screen, and punch in their ATA number, 599. And let's say that George comes up and he wants to pay for the handicap event. So we'll mark him as paid in the handicap event, and he wants to play the Lewis. And then he goes, I want a 20-pound bag of ice. We can just come down here to make miscellaneous sale, and the system will automatically pull him up in the miscellaneous sales. I'll go ahead and add the 20-pound bag of ice to his order, and then say pay. I'm not going to include a receipt, and we'll close out of that, and here it'll give us the combined total of how much he owes. In Shoot Pro 115, it's not going to go off of this total number, it'll go off of the total to be paid. So when I click done and select yes, he is now paid for the bag of ice, and he is paid for the shoot fees in the Lewis class. Now, what if you want to track tickets? This can be useful if you're doing a steak dinner and want to make sure that somebody's not holding on to their ticket and passing it to the person behind them, or if there's anything that you want to make sure that the tickets are tracked, or you just want to print out the tickets. So in this case, you will need a 58mm thermal printer. You can buy those cheap on Amazon, anywhere from $25 to $50. Make sure it is the 58mm, because that is what the report is designed to print on. Once you've set that up into your system following the guide provided by your manufacturer, you will go to the File menu, go to Computer Settings, and then you'll say Enable Thermal Printer. And then I have my thermal printer right here, POS Thermal 58 _ box. I'll select that and then close out of the settings screen. Now, when I come into the miscellaneous items setup screen, I'm going to add a new item, and I'm going to tell it that I want to track the tickets and I want to print tickets, and this is going to be for the steak dinner. So this is going to be the Friday Calcutta steak dinner, and that is $10. I'm going to select the update button and close out of the miscellaneous item setup. And so now when I come up and make a miscellaneous sale to a guest, I'm going to select the steak dinner, and I'm going to say that I want to buy 2 steak dinners, pay for everything. I'm going to print the receipt, and then the thermal printer is going to go ahead and start printing out the tickets. So it's already gone ahead and printed out the first ticket. I'm going to tear that off the printer, and then I'm going to say OK to print the next ticket. So now I have both of the dinner tickets printed out, and let's say it's time to finally do the steak dinner. Once again, I go into miscellaneous sales, I select redeem ticket. Here it's going to ask me to either scan the barcode that's on the ticket, or to type in the ticket number. In which case I have ticket number 2 and 3, so I'm going to say I'm going to redeem ticket number 2. It's going to be a steak dinner that's been sold to guest, which matches the information on the screen or on the ticket. And then once I select redeem, I can't redeem that ticket again. It says that the ticket has already been redeemed. So this way you have printed out a custom ticket receipt, and you can ensure that your tickets are not being reused by somebody else. And we can go ahead and close out of that. Now, let's say that somebody lost their ticket. You can come back to them, and they can say, oh, I don't know what my order was. You can select Find Order, and I can say, oh, okay, you were the last person that purchased a steak dinner and you bought 2 of them. So I can just double click on the order and click print. And that reprinted my Alright, so now let's talk about how to get the reports from the ticket sales. I can just go to the reports menu, number 16, miscellaneous sales report, and here I have a whole bunch of different options on how I can pull the report. I can either generate a sales report, a tickets report, or an orders report. Or I could do all three at the same time. So for simplicity's sake, I am going to pull all three at once. And for this demonstration, I'm not going to include the order details, and I'll go over that in just a second so I can demonstrate how that works. So the sales report will just list out each item, how many were sold and how much revenue was brought in. The second part, the generate tickets report, that'll tell you how many tickets were sold and how many tickets were redeemed. That'll also include it'll include details on the ticket numbers, when they were sold, information like that. And then the orders report will outline who placed what order at what time. And then if I include the details, it'll say that I bought a t-shirt and a hat, or it'll break down what items were purchased. I can also filter out by workstation, so I can only want to see information or miscellaneous sales that were done on my computer. And then I could also say that I'm only interested in seeing what happened today. And then if I display the reports, they will display in sequential order. So this is the miscellaneous sales report. Here you can see that I sold no 10-pound bags of ice, 2 20-pound bags. I sold 2 t-shirts, I sold a hat, I sold 1 t-shirt and hat, and it breaks down the total revenue. And then if we look at the bottom of the report, it'll say that we had 8 tickets, 0 of which were redeemed. Then it'll also specify when the report was printed and for which workstation, and it'll tell you how much revenue came in total. This is useful for when you're trying to balance. What you'll do is you'll take your drawer count, you'll subtract this total revenue for the miscellaneous sales, and then that should balance with the total from the shooter entries report, or if you're in the second day of a tournament, the shooter entries report minus what the previous day's entries were, or the workstation finance, depending upon what you are, what your setup is like. So go ahead and click close out of this one. Now this will bring up the tickets report. It will say that I brought up I sold 3 tickets, all of which were for the steak dinners, all of which were underneath order ID number 5, and it'll tell me when the tickets were redeemed. And if I go ahead and scroll down here to the bottom, you can see that it doesn't contain any information as to when the report was generated. Now, the reason why this report could be useful is when you're trying to see how many people actually use their dinner tickets. This way you can help gauge for next year how many steaks you need to buy, for example. And then finally, here is the sales report. So it breaks down each order that was placed, who placed the order, and how much money was brought in from each sale, as well as when the order was created. So I can go ahead, and if we scroll down to the bottom, it'll tell you when it was created on, and that it was filtered by workstation and by date. So let me show you what the orders report looks like if we include the order details. Here you can see that George bought a t-shirt and hat for $15, which balances with the order total. And we can go down and see that this guest purchased a 20-pound bag of ice and a hat for a total of $16, and that occurred on 8/11/2019. So that pretty well wraps things up.
If you have any questions, feel free to email us at support@shootingsportsoftware.com or call us at 1-801-396-7800. If you like that video, hit the thumbs up button. If you'd like to see when we post new content, hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to receive notifications on when we post new videos, hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching.